Alright, hey guys, Pokke here. Today, we'll be going through a pretty in-depth video, I would say. It will be my most in-depth video so far. It's pretty boring compared to most of the other videos that I've done, where we go through the gameplay and how do you clear content, etc. This video is really about the numbers. So if you're a guy that want to min-max this account, please stay for more. So essentially the topic we're going through today is how would you go ahead and allocate your stamina throughout the entire phase of your journey in Star Rail, right? Okay, so I think this topic has been discussed among numerous content creators, both on the English side on YouTube as well as the China side on Bilibili. And I feel that there has been a lot of misinformation, in particular for the English side, where people are recommending you to save your stamina potions and save it for like future levels so that you can spend it on like better rewards, right? Because like the later your Trailblazers level are, the more rewards you get for the loot that you do for all the missions, etc. And I'm here to say that that is really not necessary, and you will see what I mean later on as we go through this video together, right? Okay, so first things first, I would just like to bring your attention to this. This is the main bulk of the things that we'll be working on today. No gameplay video at whatever, so if you're interested in the math behind it and whatever, yep, this is the one for you. So this is I put these numbers, the equilibrium level as well as the experience required to attain the relevant Trailblazer level from the Star Rail wiki, and you can see here, this is the chart that they provided. It has been updated all the way until Trailblazer level 52, so this is the max where we are at. The first column is the experience required for the level itself, and then the second column is the total experience required. So as you can see here, it starts to become a slow but steady growth in terms of experience needed, right? And from the moment you reach 50 onwards, the experience required to level up drastically goes up from a relatively stable like 120-ish, 140, like around this. It suddenly goes up to 260 from 50 onwards. So we can expect that the amount of time you spend in Trailblazer level 50, especially for those of you who topped up stamina every single day, is gonna be a lot longer compared to your time spent between 40 to 50 and 30 to 40, etc, etc. So we can say that from 50 to 60 is really the period where you touch grass. You touch grass in Star Rail and you literally just go in and log your dailies. You will not expect to see Trailblazer level 60 really anytime soon. I would say nowhere near within this 1 month. That's how long it will take for Trailblazer level 60. So with that out of the way, what we're going to be talking about is how you want to allocate your stamina, and I have very good rationale behind each of it. So before we even go into why you should do the recommendation that I'm suggesting, right? First you got to take a look at the loot that you gain from each level. So I compiled this across all my friends and sources as well as myself, and I try to document all the things that we get together. And do let me know if some of these sources are false, because I'm only human after all, right? But I think generally speaking, these are more or less accurate, right? Okay, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the loot that you drop between each phases of your equilibrium level. So from what we see here, the main thing you want to focus on is really the Calyx Red, Stagnant Shadows, Echoes of War, and your Pieces of Relics. Why I say this is because for people that are like into min-maxing and you are going around doing your mob clearing in the overworld as well as farming your 35 runs of Simulated Universe. By the way, for those who don't know why I'm saying 35 runs, check out my previous video, I'll link it up here. Yeah, but essentially the materials dropped from Calyx Gold should be stamina free. Like you get them from absolutely not spending a single stamina. You can get experience, unit experience, you can get credit, and you can get red light cone experience as well from your Simulated Universe runs. That's why I say the emphasis on Calyx Gold is really not that high. What you really want to focus on is the stuff that you can only get from these sources. So these sources, you cannot get them anywhere else. You have to spend stamina on it, and as a result, these are the things we'll be focusing on, right? So as you can see here for Equilibrium level 1, is really the bare minimum. You haven't even unlocked the remaining things here yet. So really, you are not recommended to do anything, like any form of farming in Equilibrium level 1, other than the bare essentials to just get your team going, right? Equilibrium level 2, you start to get low chance of getting the blue trace materials in Calyx Red, as well as 2 drops of Ascension material in Stagnant Shadow, 1 drop of another this trace material that you get from your Echoes of War, which is your weekly boss. You start to get purple relics from your 4-piece, as well as guaranteed a gold for your world simulated World 5, World 6 for your 2-piece relics. Right. Equilibrium level 3, there's a higher chance to drop blue. I'm not sure what's the exact math behind it, like how much higher is the chance, but I can say for a fact that you definitely get more blue trace materials out of Calyx Red than you were at Equilibrium level 2. Right, so that's number 1. Number 2, your Stagnant Shadow loots goes up by 1, so this effectively increases your efficiency by 50% from 2 to 3, as well as your Echoes of War. This also goes up by 1, so this doubles your efficiency. That's why we always say, as much as possible, try to do your Echoes of War at the end of the week so that it matches with your equilibrium level. This is the most drastic increase, I would say. For your 4-piece relic, you start to get 1 piece of guaranteed gold drop, as well as for your 2-piece relic, you start to guaranteed all 1-piece gold drop in every single simulated universe. But I'll go through this later again, why you should or should not be farming relic, but for the majority part is you shouldn't really be dumping all your stamina into relic farming, right? Okay, Equilibrium level 4. Now this is the level where most wills will be at as of yesterday, because this is for people who really topped up stamina every single day, 8 times a day using their Stellar Jade, as well as buying their stamina shop, buying everything out in the shop. You should be able to achieve Trailblazer level 50 at the start of this week, right? Currently for myself, if you take a look at my own account, I am at Trailblazer level 45, and I have been topping up stamina 3 times a day, every single day, since the start of the game. I didn't at the start of the game, I only topped up once a day, but then after 3 or 4 days later, I went back to 3 times a day, and still I'm at Trailblazer level 45. So you definitely, as a free-to-play player, you'll be nowhere close to Trailblazer level 50 yet. So this is really the crux of the juice of this content, because I want to help you guys better prepare what sort of stamina usage you should be focusing on as you eventually reach this stage soon. Not so soon, but one day. Right, so from here, you start to have a low chance of dropping purple Calyx materials. So what are purple Calyx materials? Right? If you just take a look over here, it takes like 3 purples to level up one time, and this is equivalent to 9 blues or 27 greens, which is a lot of stamina if you want to think about it that way, right? So going back to the topic, yeah, you start to have a low chance of dropping purple materials as soon as your Trailblazer reach level 50, but it's a really, really low chance. Like, it's not that great. I think for most of my whale friends, they probably did like 10, 12 runs, and they really only got like 1 or 2 purple materials. So don't expect this to be any better. But the good thing with this place at Trailblazer level 50 is that you're guaranteed a blue Calyx material every single time you do this. Every 60 stamina spent, you will be guaranteed 4 blue. So this is huge compared to the previous times where I'm not even guaranteed a blue at all. So RNG can just kind of just screw you over, right? So yeah, huge upgrade for Calyx rate. Next, for Stagnant Shadow, it's the same. You just gain 1 more Ascension materials, which is also very good. Echoes of War, same thing. You gain 1 more trace Ascension material. And for your 4-piece relic, this is the good part where you start to get good for both relic pieces. There is a chance for you to drop 2 gold relic materials. A chance. I'm not exactly sure what is the percentage, but there is now a chance to get 2. This is where some of the people will say, okay, since there's a chance to get 2, you might go all in and just do your relic farming and just clear your goal and just aim for the perfect subsets and whatever kind of stuff. And I'm also here to say that is also not the most efficient way to spend your stamina. And yeah, so from now, as far as we can tell in our current server, this is where our whales are at now. Even if you topped up 8 times a day, you bought the weekly stamina potions, you bought the battle pass, you bought every single thing, used every single stamina potion, you will not be anywhere near Trailblazer level 60. So what the drops are for Equilibrium level 5, we honestly have no idea. But my prediction is your Calyx rate and Stagnant Shadow and your Calyx Gold, they are essentially maxed because the game already said that they are maxed there. So we are not really sure what are the rates exactly. I'm hoping that this will be a high chance purple, as well as this will become 5. Echoes of War, this is probably going to become 4. And your 4-piece relic, I don't know if they're going to make it to be a guaranteed 2 gold drop or just increase the chances of a 2 gold drop. We really have no idea of knowing. But that is essentially my hypothesis. But that is quite far out of the way, and it's not that important to us right now. What is important to us is the present, where you are currently at with your current progression. So these are the general notes that you should be knowing when it comes to progressing your account. So number 1, do not save your potions early game. I repeat, do not save your potions early game. And there's a lot of content creators out there. I don't want to name names, but they have been advocating for you to just save up all your potions so that eventually when you reach like maybe Trailblazer level 40 or 50, you can dump your potions there, and then you have like way better chance of getting better materials, right? Because instead of dumping early game where you can only maybe get like low chance blue or like this like 2 drops of stagnant shadow, purple relics, all this kind of stuff, it's really not that great compared to a Trailblazer level 50 where you can get way better purple rates. You get like 4 drops here, you get 3 drops here. So all this kind of stuff is like so much better, right? That's why you should stay with stamina potion. Okay, what I'm here to tell you, this logic is simply illogical. And you'll understand in a moment. I'm going to post a screenshot here. This is basically my TLDR version as I was explaining it to my friend just now. I will post it up here. So essentially, what I said is, if you were to spend your potions now, you'll level up earlier. And if you were to level up earlier, your natural energy, which is essentially the energy you gain from idling, right? You gain 10 energy per hour. Your natural energy can then be invested into the higher levels. But if you were to save your pots now, which is the stamina potions now, you'll level up slower. And because you level up slower, all your natural energy will be still saved and spent on lower levels. So essentially, in the long run, there is no difference, because even if you were to spend your pots now, or one day, or 1 week later, your natural energy will be tied to what Trailblazer you are at currently. And this is why I say you do not want to save your old potions early game, because the sooner you progress, the more materials you gain out of spending it on higher level loots, right? So that's number 1. Number 2, there is also an exponential increase in terms of experience progression, because y'all don't really see it here, but let me just go to my account real quick. If you take a look at your daily assignments, right, which is your daily missions, you actually gain, right now for myself, I'm at level 45, I gain 290 Trailblazer experience from daily missions alone. And if we go to Herta's control room, which is where you do your simulated missions, you can see that I am currently at a 7,000 out of 7,000 point multiplier score. And these loots, they are directly tied to your Trailblazer level. So if your Trailblazer level is not high, which is essentially if you're still at Trailblazer level 20, level 30, level 40, the loots here will be lower. And that's why I say it's way better for you to just progress faster and just get everything done and out of the way. And the sooner you start to progress in higher levels, the more of these passive rewards you will obtain in the long run. So in the long run, there is really no reason for you to be saving your stamina, because the more you save, the less you get. And because if you understand compound interest, this is exactly how compound interest works, right? Because the more you get, the more resources you get going on in the early level, the more it's going to accumulate in the later levels. That's why I say do not save your stamina potions. So that's number 1. Number 2, we're also going through an assumption. This is fairly simple. You don't really waste any stamina, whereas you don't AFK for like 3 days and then your stamina caps out at 180. That's gonna really suck, because it's gonna translate to quite a lot of progression loss. So I think this is pretty much a no-brainer here. Third, do not oversave too much on tracers and essential materials. Okay, what do I mean by this? If you take a look at what I highlighted here, right? Your Stagnant Shadow and Echoes of War, the resources that you gain from each places, okay, as well as Calyx Rate, honestly, they all increase with your Trailblazer levels. So how this game functions essentially, right, is they don't want you to promote a mentality where, okay, I'm gonna stash up all the resources I need to build all my characters to level 80. Because number 1, that's 100% impossible. You're gonna need way too much materials from farming in lower stages, right? That's number 1. And number 2, they want you to be in a stage where you're comfortably progressing with the game's intended level. So, for example, right now you're at, let's just say you're at Equilibrium level 3, Trailblazer level 40. They don't want you to save up like 10 million of your Calyx Rate and Stagnant Shadow and Echoes of War material so that you can instantly clear the game of the mobs you find when you go to Equilibrium level 4. Because the rewards you gain from farming at Equilibrium level 4 is considerably higher than when you were to farming at Equilibrium level 3. That's why I say there's no point stashing. Just farm what you need for the units. You don't need to overstash on them. This is particularly important for tracers. Maybe for Ascension, you can make a note of it, because Ascension, after you ascend them, you can have a lot of time going around farming levels, farming credits, and you can slowly level them up. So I think for Ascension, it's okay to stash up for some of your units, not all your entire rosters, just enough for you to make your main 4 units, your main team, to be ascended to the next phase immediately when you upgrade your Trailblazer level. Same for Echoes of War. This one is pretty self-explanatory. Just do them at the last day so that there's a chance for you to get into the next stage. But since this is only 3 times a week, it's not that impactful. This is the most impactful for Calyx rate, and why I want to say do not upgrade all tracers and only useful ones, because if you were to spend all your tracers upgrades on all the useless trace upgrades, I wouldn't say useless, but like, okay, if you take a look at your my character here, let's just say I want to upgrade like for example Celia, right? You can see that I purposely didn't upgrade her defense boost this stat bonus. It's going to cost me 3 Arrow of the Demon Slayer as well as 3 of this Usurper Scheme. I mean, at a glance, it's pretty cheap, right? Might as well just get it now. No, you don't get it now because this upgrade effectively costs more for me to upgrade at this very moment, because I'm still not able to farm at the maximum efficiency when it comes to Calyx rate farming. Whereas if I were to save this for next time, where I can farm at a better efficiency, where like, there's guaranteed blue drops as well as a chance for low purple drops, then this will effectively cost me less. It will cost me less stamina to upgrade the same tracers that I would have otherwise upgraded at the earlier stages. And this holds true for every single unit. You can see that I really didn't upgrade them all. I only left out the crucial skills, namely they are the ultimate and the skill of the unit, and some of their most key abilities that you can unlock. But I definitely do not recommend upgrading all tracers, because it's going to cost you a lot of stamina, especially if you were to do your tracers farming at this very moment. Right, so going back to this, I deviated a little bit. That was point number 5, but back to point number 4, unit and light cone experience as well as credits, they are farmable from the overworld / simulated universe mobs. So if you are a player that likes to min-max, you like to grind them, you want to go ahead and play this game for like a way longer time than most casual players, you should never ever touch Calyx Go, because right now I can say I'm somebody that likes to min-max. I've done my 35 runs of Simulated Universe every single week, and I go around clearing the mobs every single day. I clear every single monster every single day, and I haven't run into the issue where I need to farm unit experience or light cone experience or credits yet. Like, they are at a serviceable level in my current stash. But I think this would definitely be an issue once you start to approach Equilibrium level 5, Equilibrium level 6, because the amount of credits you need to upgrade your tracers and levels is exponentially higher. And that is also a reason why they purposely allow you to gain the max efficiency of Calyx Go at Equilibrium level 4, because they know that this is the point where players start to really feel the resource tightness when it comes to unit and light cone experience as well as credit. So they throw your bone here and you say, okay, you know what, since you can farm at maximum efficiency here, and we understand that it's pretty difficult for you to achieve the max level for your units, here you can use your stamina here because you can get the maximum efficiency. So this is how this is the only place where you can consider to start to farm Calyx Go. Other than that, for your earliest levels from Equilibrium 1 to 3, you should not be touching Calyx Go at all if you're somebody that farms around and plays the game diligently. But of course, I understand that if you're a casual player, you don't really want to play the game like 2, 3, 4 hours a day, then go ahead and do this, because you ultimately still need unit experience and light cone experience and credits to progress your most fundamental stat, which is your unit levels. That is the most fundamental stat. Right, so that is point number 4, and we've just went through point number 5, which is don't upgrade tracers to only the useful ones. Okay, and another point I want to add on to this is it's pretty fast, is tracers are really not the end or be all for your unit strength. The end or be all, number 1, is going to be your levels. Your levels are the most important stat when it comes to clearing a boss, because of how defense and attacks works, right? If a boss has a higher level than you, they naturally will have more attack than your unit, as well as more defense than a boss with a lower level. So your attacks will do less and their hits will deal more to you. So levels are the end or be all for in terms of unit strength for any sort of units. The tracers, they are just good to have, but they're not game changing. If you upgrade your tracers to max, but a character is still at level 50 instead of level 60, I guarantee you'll have a way harder time clearing content versus if your units were at level 60 but you haven't really upgraded your tracers. That's why I say the tracers are really not that important compared to other stats such as your levels and also your relics, but I'm going to get to that point later on. Right. Okay, point number 6. Minimum upgrades to gear and light cone as on a per need basis. Okay, this is more particularly invested to the players at Equilibrium 1 to 4. 5 to 6, not so much, but 1 to 4. Because I've played the game using the free gear, I have not done any sort of relic farming until I've reached Trailblazer level 40. So from 0 to 2, right, I straight up just used the free gear that they gave me. No farming purple gear at all from the 4-piece relic, as well as just leveling up to the bare necessities. So for me, plus 6 and plus 9, they're relatively cheap, and especially considering that you can gain relic experience from recycling useless gear from Simulator Universe, as well as some light cone experience from Simulator Universe as well. Leveling them up to an acceptable degree where you can clear all the content will be a wise choice to have, because first of all, you should understand that this game, there's an 80% experience carryover. This is applicable to both your relics as well as your light cones. So even if you were to invest quite a little bit on your earlier light cones and relics, right, and you feel that next time in the future you're not going to use them anymore, it's okay, because once you upgrade them to your future better gold gears and your gold relics and your gold light cones or whatever, they still transfer over 80% of their original experience. So it's really not that bad of a drop off, and I wouldn't say that you wasted a lot of materials on upgrading your gear and light cone, but just keep them to minimum upgrade. Not to say like every single one of your purple gear has to be plus 12, and that's really going to cost a lot even if they refund 80%, right? So just do this on like a per need basis. If you can clear the content without any of the upgrades, such as you can really clear Simulator Universe 6, for example, when you're at Equilibrium level 3 or 2, then there's really no need for you to upgrade them beyond that level, because as we know, after main story, there is no more main story after level 34. So just on a per need basis. Alright, my final note is Echoes of War to be done every Sunday in case your Equilibrium level is up. Okay, this is also a very self-explanatory note. Why? Because Echoes of War, on top of the essential materials that they give you for your skills, they also provide a chance for you to gain purple light cones as well as gold gears and all that kind of good stuff. So it will always be the best, especially when you consider you can only do this 3 times a week, right? So it will always be the best if you can somehow manage to squeeze through to the next Equilibrium level, and this will really help you benefit your account a lot more. So these are the general notes that I will want to say. Alright, so now I'm going to go into my suggested progression for all these Equilibrium levels up to Equilibrium level 4. Equilibrium level 5, no one in the game has reached it yet, so we will get there next time. When we get there, we'll get there next time, right? So Equilibrium level 0 to 1. So this is really where you want to speedrun your story content, clear as much as you can. Because remember, the total experience here, right? This is the experience needed, but you should know that a lot of experience is front-loaded into the game's content. From clearing main story, from clearing side quests, you gain a lot of experience, and all these experiences will dry up later on when you reach late game. So it's very, very possible for you to easily reach Equilibrium level 2 or Equilibrium level 1 at least, Trailblazer level 20 on day 1. As long as you speed run through, clear all the story content, just clear as much as you can. You don't really need to worry about gear that much. You really don't need to worry about light cone. Just level your main 4 units that you can run with. There's been tons and tons of free-to-play teams out there in the content creators world already. People can already clear Forgotten Hall, Stage 15, clear Simulator Universe 6 without even pulling the gacha a single time. So you're definitely good to go, just leveling your main 4 units. You can upgrade your gears to levels plus 6, since the purple gear are going to stay with you for quite a while until you reach Trailblazer level 30 or 40, when you can start to farm gears if you want to, right? But this is really optional. But this too is the most important thing. Just speedrun story content as well as leveling up your main 4 teams. You don't even need to think about investing a second team right now, because there is no content for you to do, and there's no way you can clear a Forgotten Hall so early anyways, because the level there is way higher than where you are at for Equilibrium 0 to 1. Okay, for Equilibrium 2, which is once you hit Trailblazer level 30, you can now upgrade your units to level 50, right? So this is always... Okay, by the way, this is in the order of priority, in case I haven't stated yet. In order of priority, you should always level your units and tracers first. Tracers, which is the key upgrades of tracers, not all upgrades, right? But the number one thing is always level your main units to 50. Okay, little note here I want to put, right? You can leave them at 1 level below the max. If you were to do this, at least next time, if you are a player that wants to grind around the world a lot, you farm mobs every single day, if you leave them 1 level below the max, at least you gain some passive experience from clearing mobs. And this is just really from a min-max standpoint, completely optional, up to you. But if you are somebody that really wants to be efficient about it, you can do this. Right, so that's for leveling. Then next, you can upgrade your free gear to plus 9 if you feel that you're stuck in some kind of content. But like I said, this is really on a per need basis. If you do not need to upgrade the gear and you've already cleared all the contents that are available to you in Equilibrium level 2, then there's no need to do this at all. But since it's relatively cheap, and if you find that it's a good help to your progression and make it faster, then so be it. Right. Next, this is the part where you can start to farm enough Ascension level for level 50 to 60. Right. So if you take a look at Equilibrium 2 here, what can you really farm? Right, let's take a look. You can farm Calyx Gold, and I've explained the reasons why you should not farm Calyx Gold so early on, unless you're a casual. You can farm Calyx Red. You definitely need to farm this anyways, because you need to upgrade your tracers. But I'm taking this, right? Remember I said this is in order of priority, right? In terms of importance. So this is already after taking into account that you have farmed your main 4 units and the tracers to the level where you want them to be. So I'm just going to take it that the main upgrades for tracers are already done. You're done with your tracers farming, and you're basically done with this, so you don't need this anymore. What you're really left with at Equilibrium level 2 is Stagnant Shadows, Echoes of War, 4-piece and 2-piece relic, right? Okay, so these are the only 4 things that you need to farm at Equilibrium level 2. Let's just highlight this a little better. And let me just this away. Right. So these are the only 4 things you can do. So what can you really do here? First of all, Echoes of War. You will do this every Sunday. If you can somehow manage to squeeze into Equilibrium level 3 by the end of the week, then that's the best ideal scenario. So you just leave it as Sunday. Stagnant Shadow. This is hardcore guaranteed progression because you're always going to need essential materials. And doing Stagnant Shadows is not as RNG as compared to farming 4-piece relic or farming this 2-piece gold relic. I'll go into this a little bit later, but you definitely 100% do not need to farm 4-piece relic here because all they give you is purple, and the purple gear that you receive from story is more than sufficient for you to clear any of the content that you can find in Equilibrium level 2. So what you are really left with is Stagnant Shadow and your simulated 5 and 6 when they drop gold. So what should you do? Alright. First of all, you should get enough essential material for you to reach level 50 to 60 because, like I said at the start of the video, leveling your units will always be the #1 priority, and if you can somehow manage to level them to the next level, it's gonna make your account progression a lot smoother. And let's consider that Equilibrium level 3 is probably the part where you want to start to tackle Forgotten Hall as well as Memory of Chaos. So getting your unit level up there is definitely important. But #1 rule is don't stash. Do not stash so much. Like, you don't want to farm so much essential material such that you can make your entire team, your 20 units, all into level 50 or 60, like that jump. That's too much. Since you're realistically only going to use these 4 units for most of the content. If you're somebody that wants to clear Forgotten Hall, then you can consider farming your second team, but not now, right? Now, after you have done enough essential materials for level 50, okay, let me just make this a little bit clearer. For main 4 units. After you're done with this, then you can use your remaining stamina to farm Simulated Universe 6. Now, why I say this? Because Simulated 6, the gear that they drop from Simulated Universe 6, let's just go back to our game real quick. If you take a look here, oops, the set they drop is actually really good. Valuable of artifacts. Increase your wearer's defense by 15%, and if your effect here is higher than 50%, you gain another 15% defense. Even if the second line don't work, this is the best in slot for your Fire MC, and you're probably always going to run Fire MC for any sort of content since it goes with defense. So this set is one of the better sets for a Fire MC, so you're definitely going to use this. Second set, Inert Salsato. Increase wearer's crit rate by 8%, and when your wearer's crit rate reaches 50% or higher, the ultimate and follow-up damage increases by another 15%. This is absolutely huge, and you can pretty much just slap this set onto any sort of DPS. It doesn't even matter if they don't have follow-up attack damage, because what you have to understand in this game, right, is attack has a diminishing return essentially, and there's a lot of sources in this game that buffs your attack. Ting Yun, Bronya, all this kind of stuff, they all buff your attack, as well as all the little gears that you gain, like your Musketeer set, they also buff your attack. But there are very little things in the game that buffs your crit rate. And if you play Genshin or you play any form of turn-based RPG or even gacha game, you should know how important crit rate / crit damage is. And this 8% crit rate alone is super important. Especially in the early game where you can't really get very good crit rates from your subsets, since subset farming is absolute nightmare, and therefore you definitely will want to slap this. This set is definitely going to be used by anybody for a very long foreseeable future. So that's why I say these 2 gears, you can start to farm them now, because your progression from, let's take a look back here again, your progression from Equilibrium level 2 to level 3 is around 40,000 experience, and you're definitely gonna eat up less than 40,000 experience after you finish the first 3 steps. Like, even when you're finished with these first 3 steps, you'll still probably be around level 36, 37. So from 36 to 37 all the way to level 40, I will advise you to just dump all your stamina on Simulated Universe 6, so that at least the pieces of gold gear that you get from here, they're going to service you for a really long time. Because if you take a look at the drop rate for your 2-piece relic, the next time you get a better relic drop rate for World 5 and World 6, okay, in particular World 6, is going to be at Trailblazer level 50. So from where you are at, which is level 36 or 37, all the way until level 50, you're going to be using that piece of gold gear you gain from the farming you do here. That's why I say you should start to dump your remaining stamina on Simulated Universe 6. Just, if you are not able to clear the boss, it's fine, but I just want to say this, there are tons of guides out there for free-to-play units. Very quick summary, just run Hunt Path and just spam for the double resonance. You can and you pretty much can clear Kokola's ice sculptures really far. Okay, but I'm a little bit deviating, so even if you cannot clear the boss, just have to fight the first elite unit and deep. Once you fight the first elite unit and you defeat them, you are able to obtain the gold gear from that drop already. So you can just dip out there if you can't find a boss, so be it. Alright. So these two things I've mentioned already. Do not stash on your tracers, do not stash on your relic. Sorry, you do not stash on your tracers, and you 100% do not farm relic with your 4-piece relic, okay? Let's make this clear a little bit. You do not want a 4-piece relic. 2-piece relic is okay because you're guaranteed a gold drop, but 4-piece relic now is really not the time for you because it's all purple, and all purple gears can be completely serviceable to you for a very long time anyways. So do not farm 4-piece relic, and for the other reasons I have mentioned, since your farming efficiency is better later game, do not stash up on your trace materials. Alright, now you have done your farming, you have done your essential materials, stash up enough, boom, you have hit 40. Congratulations. Now you are at, I would say, somewhat of an early mid game, and this is where your stamina usage can be a lot more flexible, I would say, because from 40 to 50 it's going to take way longer for you to take than from 30 to 40, especially considering that from 40 to 50, right, we have no other side quests, we have no other main quest storyline, so all we get from here on out is either you top up your stamina using Stellar Jades, or you just wait for the daily and gain better missions, right? So this is the part where for most free-to-play players, you're going to be here for a very long time. So what can you do here? So first things first, like any other of my previous equilibrium levels, always level your main units to your maximum level, or you can do this as well, leave them one level below max, to level 60 or level 59, right? So that's number one. Number two, once you are done with the tracers and level for the main team, can raise your essential materials for level 60 to 70. So why I say that you want to raise essential material for 60 to 70, right? Okay, so because the cost for your essential material is drastically increasing over time, right? If you look at your previous levels, right? Essential materials needed. These things you pretty much farm them anywhere in the map. You can farm them from mods, you can farm them. It's like you can get them anywhere. So okay, since we're on this topic, right? If you were to raise your character to, like, let's say level 40, max to level 40, you really don't lose out that much. All you lost is just 10 of these tokens plus 15 tokens for an SSR and some materials for like your unit experience and your goal. That's really all you lose. You haven't really lost any of the big materials, which is this. This is the big material, right? So from level 50 to 60, you had to use 7 of this essential materials where you get from Stagnant Shadow, right? This 7. But from 60 to 70, you need 20. Alright. You need 20 of this. It's almost tripled the amount needed to raise the unit from 60 to 70. So if you want to wait until you farm this at when you become a Trailblazer level 50, it's technically also achievable, but you're gonna wait for a really long time until your main units can get all to level 70. So I would highly advise you to start farming this now, because it just takes a lot more. Like if you are running a team of 4 SSR, right, that is 80 essential materials, right? And you can only, from where you're at, you only gain 3 essential materials per 30 energy. So essentially, you're gonna need 800 stamina, right, to max out a full team of 4. And that is quite a considerable amount. And I would just say the difference of that 1 is not that important as much as you want to level your units, right? Now, after you're done with essential material, this is the third step. Now, this third step is completely optional, by the way. This is only for players that want to target the harder endgame content, which is a Forgotten Hall as well as Memory of Chaos. If you're someone that is not interested in the content, right, there is completely no need to invest in a second team right now. Because if you want to raise a second team later on, like I said, because of the drops getting increasingly better and better, right, it will actually be more economically viable, like it's more resource efficient for you to raise a second team when you go into later parts of the game. But if you're someone that wants to play the content, because from stage 11 onwards of Forgotten Hall, you have to use 2 teams. So you definitely need to raise a second team. So if you're somebody that wants to clear content, right, and just have nothing better to do, then this is where I will start recommending you to raise a second team. You don't raise a second team anywhere near from between level 0 to 40. Don't let me catch you raising your second team from 0 to 40. Only start raising your second team after level 40, because the drop rates, at least for this part, is a lot better than Equilibrium 0 to 2. So only start raising your second team from Equilibrium level 3 onwards. And also, like I said, completely optional. So if you don't want to do it, then it's completely fine, right? So now with that out of the way, the remaining stamina, what do you want to do? You will want to use the rest of your stamina to farm for your relic sets. Now this is the time where you start to farm for relics. Now, a lot of content creators, they are saying like, oh my god, you shouldn't farm for relics now because there's only 1 guaranteed gold drop and it's just not efficient. You should wait for 2 gold drops or even more in the later stages so they can start. Okay, my rationale is this. what else are you going to be farming if not for 4-piece relic at this point of time, right? I've already mentioned why you shouldn't stash that much, because whenever you want to stash materials for more than your main team, you can just use the energy better next time when you go to the next equilibrium level. And it's not like not having a second team will stop your progress. That's number one. Number two, you can't ignore relic farming forever, because even at equilibrium level 4, which is at level 50, it's only a slight increase in terms of efficiency rate. It's not a guaranteed 2 gold drop yet. You still gain 1 gold drop for your relic for most part of the time anyways. And the difference between a 5-star, the difference between a gold relic gear and a purple relic gear is quite huge. I think just for main stats alone, like for example crit rate, it's a 10% increase on crit rate. And for attack, I think it's somewhere around the ballpark as well. So if you feel that your main team is starting to stall, especially if you want to target the harder contents for Forgotten Hall, you will realize that having better gear is going to make your life a lot easier. And this is really just quality of life as well. Like when you want to farm limited universe or all the kind of clearing mobs faster, having better relic will undeniably make your clearing speed a lot faster. And the best part is, this is actually the most important part actually, you only focus on your main stats. Let me just bold this. You only focus on your main stats. Why? Why do I say this? Okay. I made this little chart previously. Let me just zoom in a little bit. I know the numbers are wrong because some of you guys may have played Genshin, and the Genshin community has found out that different gears with different main stats have different drop rates for some of them. So for example, for their feet, right? In Genshin, the feet main stat with a speed main stat drops lower than other main stats such as HP or defense. So I just want to clear it out first. The probability here is assuming that they are all equal, right? But that being said, let's just assume they're all equal, and you run 1,000 runs of relic runs, right? 1,000 on a 4-piece. Let's say you want to target a specific set, which is Quantum, right? You'll be sharing that Quantum set with the other Wuthering of Snow set. So effectively, half of this is gone. Like, let's just assume, okay? We're assuming that all the probabilities are the same for all pieces of gear. Even though I know this is not true, but let's just bear with me for a moment, right? So let's just say half of this is gone. You are left with only 500. You're getting 500 pieces of Quantum gear. Now these are the allocation. Let me just make them like this. We'll care about this first. Head, hand, body, feet at a 25% probability for each, right? The chances of you obtaining the the main stat that you desire for head and hand is 125, which is pretty high because, as we know, head and hand, they are fixed main stats, right? So you definitely can get them, no questions asked. It's just a matter of substats. But for body and feet, this number goes down drastically because for body, there are 7 different main stats that you can get, and there are 4 different main stats that you can get for feet. So the chances of you getting the right main stat alone, by the way, not even talking about substat, is extremely small. For 1,000 runs, okay, 1,000 runs, that is 40,000 experience. Sorry, 40,000 stamina. For 40,000 stamina, you only gain like 17 pieces of body with the main stat that you desire. Let's say you want crit rate. You only gain 17 pieces of crit rate out of 1,000 runs. Alright, just let that number sink in for a while. Okay, it sunk in? Okay, fantastic. So this is why I say, if you start farming relic now, it will only benefit you and it will not hurt you, because the probability of you getting the right gear is almost impossible. Like, it's really almost impossible. If you want to get the right main stat and the right substat, it's really almost impossible. So the earlier you start farming, the better it's going to do for you in the long run, because honestly, this game, Stario, or just like Genshin, the end game for these kind of games is really just about relic farming, right? So, just to prove my point, Sile is the only unit so far that I farmed relic for, because I've been working on my traces, and I'm somebody that wants to play Forgotten Hall, right? So I raised additional units beyond my original 4. So Sile is really the only unit that I've been farming my relic set on. And if you take a look at the relics, I'm only really settling on anything. It doesn't even have to be gold. As long as the substat is right, I'm taking it. I don't give a shit. And you can see that as long as the main stat is right, I'm taking it. I don't give a shit. And you can see that the substats here is really, really rubbish. Like, let's not kid ourselves here, okay? This is some really copium AF substats. But I'm still gonna use it. Why? Because this quantum set itself alone is already miles ahead better than the 4-piece musketeer set that you gain since the start of the game. You have been using that 4-piece musketeer set for I think for a good 1, maybe 2 weeks by now, and it's time to get a little upgrade, right? Take a look at my hands. It's really nothing amazing, okay? It's just speed with like 1 line of speed and 1 line of crit rate. But I'm using this because none of my other hands are even better than this. This is even worse. So I'm using purple. And it's okay to use purple. It's fine. Right? My body, I literally haven't gotten a single crit rate body. Not a gold one as well. And this is the first time I got a crit rate. So you know what? I'm done. And this took me roughly, I would say probably around 5,000 stamina to gain a 4-piece set of this. Right? 5,000 stamina. And after spending 5,000 stamina, you can look, my account is still level 45. It's not even past the 45 mark. So I'm saying that there is a lot of time for you to spend your energy really freely at this stage between level 40 to level 50. So I've decided to allocate it to my Sile, and now I feel that, okay, you know what, this is perfectly serviceable for me. I'm clearing all the content that I need. I feel good seeing like big crit numbers. Like before this, my Sile was critting, like her ultimate was critting for maybe less than 20k. Now I'm seeing crits of like 30k, 40k, 50k in Simulated Universe, and it just makes me happy. And other ways that I will be spending my stamina is gonna be traces, like materials. And like it just doesn't give me the satisfaction, you know. Especially when I know that 1, I'm gonna be getting better traces farming later, and 2, the numbers are not even going up. I'm just stashing it for the future. But right now, relics are your immediate progress that you can see to progress your account. Because let's be real, guys. Bottom line, this game is really just about it's like a pet simulator, you know. You're like growing your waifus as your pets and seeing them get stronger every single day, and getting those big numbers are really just the bottom line for all games. That's like Star Rail, for Star Rail anyways. So that's my opinion. If you want to have fun playing the game and you don't want to be like stashing your entire life, and I've already mentioned how inefficient stashing is, you should be farming relics when you're between level 40 to 50. But of course, this is a very, very important step. You only start farming relics once you have sorted your main levels and your traces and your ascension for level 60 to 70 for your main team. Only after you have finished the above steps, then you can start consider dropping your stamina on farming 4-piece relic sets. Right, that's the only condition I have. And like I said, between Trailblazer, Equilibrium level 4 to Equilibrium level 5, Equilibrium level 3 to Equilibrium level 4 is a lot of experience. Like, it's like, what is this, 50,000 experience? That's literally like the entire time you take for you to get to Equilibrium level 3. So it's really a lot. And if you want to take a look at a detailed chart here, I have a detailed chart here, which essentially explains to you how much experience you need, right? From 40 to 50, every single level, it just goes up and up and up. And it's just going to be an exponential increase as we go on and on. So my point is, even after farming and saving up for the first 3 steps of my progression guide, you will definitely have enough stamina for you to keep farming relic pieces after giving through this. Okay, one grain of salt that I must say though is, as someone that is spending 3 times stamina refresh, this might not be applicable to free-to-plays or complete free-to-plays that have not been topping up their stamina with Stellar Jade at all. Now, if you are in this camp where you do not top up, you might not be able to do this. I don't know. I personally don't know because I've never tried it. Because of how slow it is, right? But if you find yourself not having enough energy to even clear the first 3 steps, then for free-to-plays, I strongly do not recommend you doing this before this, right? Only ever do this after the first 3 steps are done, right? So that's the main thing I want to get across. And like I said here, same for previous cases, do not stash on trace, do not stash too much, just because at Equilibrium level 4 is where we get the good shit. We get the good low chance purple as well the guaranteed blue. So farming traces here is really going to be a lot more efficient for you, right? So that is my Equilibrium level 3. Now, Equilibrium level 4. Even though I'm not even at this stage, but I've already planned myself what I'm going to do when I'm at this stage. And I think this is a very, very good benchmark for most users to do, right? So, number 1, you level your 4 main units and traces to level 70. And this is going to be important because you start to unlock World 5 and 6 difficulty 2. And you might not be able to clear them if you do not level them 70. The mobs are actually starting to get considerably more difficult, right? So this is the first step. As usual with any other step, you always level your main units and your traces first. Necessary traces, right? So after this, your unit and your Litecoin experience as well as credits are maxed here, right? So this is where the part, like I mentioned earlier just now, you'll start to face bottlenecks in terms of your Calyx Gold materials. Even if you're someone like me that has been farming Simulator Universe and clearing mobs every single day, this is the part where you will start to run into a lot of credit bottleneck and experience bottleneck, because the leveling units from 60 to 70, I believe, is like 300,000 or 400,000 or 500,000 credits per unit. And not to mention, I think almost close to 100 purple books. So it's really a lot of materials needed, and this is where you can actually say, okay, you know what, I'm going to start farming this. Because if you were to do the traditional route of farming mobs and doing Simulator Universe, it might take you a really long time to raise not just 8 units, don't even talk about 8 units, even 4 units, you might start to have some difficulty. So yeah, you can start to consider farming Calyx Gold from here. So after that, you also do the exact same thing that we've done previously, which is enough Ascension material for level 70 to 80. Now, you should know that from Equilibrium level 4, right, to the Equilibrium level 5, 50 to 60, it's like weeks and weeks of time. You have a lot of time to spend on this. So once you're done with this, you're still at like Equilibrium level, Trailblazer level 53, maybe 53, around 53, 52, 53, 54. So for the remaining like 6 to 7 levels, you can start dumping it on your relic. Now this is really where you start to filter out better and better relic gears, because there's really nothing else for you to farm anymore. Because after this onwards, you're going to start maxing out on the rewards once you go into level 60. I'm not sure if they will give you guaranteed double gold drops or all this kind of stuff, but based on what we have in game, the maximum is at Trailblazer level 6, which is level 65. So this is gonna be a really long time. So, but before then, you really have a lot of stamina to spend on all these relics, and this is really the part where, okay, you tell yourself, you know what, I'm gonna try to build myself a better character with the proper stat sets, all this kind of stuff. So from 50 to 60 is where you really start to build your relic grind, because your tracers grind and everything should more or less be your first priority. And after clearing your first priority, you will still have a lot of stamina remaining, right? So this is essentially my overall suggested progression guide in Honkai Star Rail. Holy shit, from where I'm seeing my video is almost 15 minutes long. Okay, but I don't think it's gonna be 15 minutes because I'm gonna edit out some of the starters and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is my basic guide. Just one more little bonus trip that in case you guys haven't realized yet. Okay, Jingyuan is coming. Okay, let me just zoom this real quick. Jingyuan is coming, and you definitely, if you're somebody that wants to play him, right, I will highly suggest you don't build for just 4 units, but also build on your 5th unit, which is Jingyuan. So no matter where you are at in the game now, because Jingyuan is coming in probably around 2 weeks, so maybe if you are in Equilibrium 1 to 3, it's not that important. Because I think after 2 weeks, even for free to play, you should be starting to hit Equilibrium level 4 or close to Equilibrium level 4, or at least you're in Equilibrium level 3. So I will start recommending you start to build for Jingyuan stash only at Equilibrium level 3. But if you're free to play and you're very slowly, it's quite slow for you to start to access all these resources, then yeah, by all means go ahead and start to prepare for his tracers and experience and materials required for his ascension, all that kind of stuff. Just a gentle reminder that Jingyuan is really coming soon in 2 weeks time, so I hope that you have prepped enough materials for him and you can enjoy him just as much as you are enjoying CD right now. And that will be the gist of this video, and I'll see you guys next time.